Welcome to Eventful Endeavors, secrets to crafting the perfect celebration. If you're planning an event and looking for useful tips from industry experts, you're in the right place. So get ready to take some notes and we'll dive right in. This is Eventful Endeavors.
Well, hi, Julia. Thank you so much for coming on the pod. It's so good to have you.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. So tell me a little bit about the venue.
So the venue is in Sutton, Massachusetts. We built at the end of 2021. We're a year-round venue, so that's kind of unique for a barn specifically. We have AC, we have heat, and we're open 12 months, pretty much 7 days a week too. We take limited time off. So we do over 150 events a year, ranging from weddings to baby showers, bridal showers, birthday parties, corporate events, golf tournaments. We do it all and then some.
Wow. So all over the place in the best way.
Yes, yes, definitely. Anytime you're willing to celebrate, we're here to have you. So we're always so excited to see more and more people coming in.
Oh, that's amazing. I love that.
It's
So tell me a
super
little
fun.
bit about some current trends that you're seeing.
We're seeing sage green, I feel like, has been a trend that has lasted 2 years. We're seeing a lot of sage green. We've been seeing a lot of greenery, which I have been very excited about. Instead of doing a ton of flowers, we've been having a lot of just giant greeneries come in, which I love. We did a wedding last year where they did ferns lining the entire aisleway, which was so beautiful and a simple touch and something that you could also bring back to your house afterwards instead of, sadly, like with flowers, you spend a lot of money and then they don't really live a week after your wedding, but something that's in a pot that you can bring home with you and kind of like a special reminder of your wedding is very nice. And still the fall weddings I feel like are the trend, if you will, because it's a classic, especially in New England. You have the fall leaves, you have the trees. We have a beautiful view that overlooks a marsh and then like our tree line. And I kind of call it our fake New Hampshire because it almost looks like a mountainscape. And
I love
a lot of people come. And besides the barn, I would say that's the reason why people book is that beautiful view. It's stunning and it's kind of breathtaking out there.
That's so obviously being in New England, we love the fall.
Yes.
So you're seeing stuff like you said you're open 365 days.
Mhm.
So I'm sure it's really cool to just see all the different seasons and people bring their own interpretations.
Yeah, definitely. I worked at a venue. My first ever job was at a high-end wedding venue in Connecticut, and it was a very charming venue. But after a while, I was like, okay, it's another summer wedding. Everything's looking the same eventually. And it's another fall wedding where at the barn, it's a beautiful space, but it's also a blank canvas. So when people come in and they put their own decor in it, it looks different every single time I go in there on the weekends, which has been really fun for me to see all the personalities really shine through and making it your own. And I always tell tours, you don't need a lot of decor. We've done people that just do a simple bud vase with one or two sprigs of flowers. And then you have the people come in where they have the really tall vases with the big poof flower on the top. So it's really fun to see people kind of make the space their own. And I feel like trends at the barn, we see some of them, but ultimately everybody kind of customizes it themselves. So it's been really fun to just see everybody make the space their own and be like, oh yeah, wow, what they did here is really great. Maybe we should kind of do that all the time. And it's been super fun just to see overall.
So cool. Where can people find you?
So we have our website, thebarn@blackstonenational.com. That's a direct line. We have a contact page right there that goes into our system so we can send you all the information. We're on The Knot, we're on Wedding Wire, we're on Zola, we're on Discover Central Mass, which Discover Central Mass is a new partnership that we started last year, which highlights everything kind of in Central Massachusetts. So we're kind of all over. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook. So wherever you can find somebody is hopefully where we'll be for everybody.
Oh, that's amazing. Sounds so I'm in Princeton, so I love Central Mass. I've lived here my whole life. So to definitely be highlighting something super local is so amazing.
Yes, definitely. I always say it's so fun meeting other businesses from around the area because I'm we're right here and for Central Massachusetts, there's so much to do and we're right outside of Worcester, which is such a hub. I always joke around, it's the second largest city in New England, which you would never know, but you
Right.
have so much to do there. So it's so great to kind of go from a very diverse area from, the countryside that we're in to going into the city, but there's just so much around the surrounding area. We're on a golf course, so people like to come and we have a lot of people that golf the day of the wedding too. So there's a lot happening, which is super fun.
That's so cool. Sounds like you guys really know how to multitask.
Yeah, definitely.
So what would you say are some things that like couples should never do? Like if you had to give advice on like what not to do.
So funny enough, my best friend just got engaged. And so she was like, "You're the maid of honor. Like, you need to help me plan this thing out." And so I like went on a tour with her. And I think what's really helpful for people nowadays is like using your resources. Like back in the day, like you got engaged and you're like, okay, like how do I plan a wedding? We're now like using Pinterest and TikTok and Google and the Knot. Like they have, I really love when they print out like a timeline of like when people need to start doing things because it approaches very quickly.
Yes.
I always tell like couples that I tour, like the date is the most important thing. Once you have the date, you can kick back, relax, and do everything on your own terms, depending on like how far outside vendors book out. But the most important thing is asking the questions that may be uncomfortable or you may not want to, but that are important, like the deposit and insurance. And we just see things happen with other couples that we would never want to happen at our barn, and we make sure that they don't happen. So you need to make sure that you're prepared for the worst, despite it being the best day of your life. Like, God forbid something happens. We want you to feel rest assured with us, but like, I can't speak for all venues, but there's definitely choices where people have come in and I'm like, even as simple as like a cake cutting fee. People at other venues charge a cake cutting fee, and we just thought that was the silliest thing in the world. Like,
What?
it's your cake. You should cut it on your wedding day.
It's your own. Yeah, that's so silly.
It really is, but it's the wedding industry. Like, there's a lot of money in the wedding industry and it's a lot of work. So I completely understand why things are so expensive for like the outside people. But at the same time, it's like, okay, like we're not charging them for everything and anything. Like some things are easy for us to do. Like it's easy for us to bring your cake out. You can cut your cake and then we can bring it back and cut it for you. We have a team. It's all good. So there's just little things there that we do differently, but it's important for couples to figure out, you know, what's going on. Like I went to a tour with my best friend and there was, you know, she's paying for the food, she's paying for the venue, and there's a catering fee that's a couple $1,000s. And I'm like, well, what's this catering fee for? Like, why is that
Yeah.
not already included in your food costs or your gratuity? Or like, what are all these charges for that don't make sense? You have a linen charge, you're charging her $2 per napkin. I'm like, it's just so funny because so many places do things differently, and it's really possible for people to have their like dream wedding. If you're looking towards the right things and asking the right questions, you can filter out quickly. Like, our linens are included in our venue costs. We have a good range of things for people to pick. If you don't like what we have, you can certainly bump up and go to like an outsourced company. We've had like one couple do that in 4 years. So we try to
Yeah.
offer people the dream wedding without spending $90,000 because that's just not fun for anybody.
Right. And that's amazing. And I know there are venues out there that they really give you a line item for everything.
Yes.
And it's like, why are we going with an all-inclusive thing if it's really not all
Yeah, and
inclusive?
some
So
people
I
can
love
do
that.
that, which is great. Like, if you can afford a $90,000 wedding, please invite me. I'd love to come. But we're in
Right.
Central Massachusetts. Like, we're dealing with average blue collar people. We have a lot of
Yep.
teachers. I did a tour where I was like, you know, a lot of our people are like teachers and like electricians. They're
Yep.
firefighters. And the couple's like, yep, I'm a first grade teacher and he is a lineman. And I'm like, see, like
Yep.
we're trying to help you guys. We want you guys to have that dream wedding you've always imagined without the like $90,000 price tag.
Oh, that's incredible because there are some places, you know, and if people want to go that route, go that route.
Yeah,
But it's
definitely.
great that there are really like thoughtful, well thought out venues that are local
Mhm.
that are, you know, catering to like everybody who wants to get married and have
A
their big like dream
100%.
day. Yeah.
Yes. I always say somebody's going to book the barn. I want you to love it. And if it's not your place, it's not your place. I don't want you to
Yeah.
spend a ton of money and hate it here. There's some times where
Right.
people walk in and I'm like, I love these people. They're very nice people, but they're just not our people. Like they don't
Yeah.
want the barn vibe. And that's okay because somebody's going to come in and they're going to cry and love it and say how beautiful it is. And like, that makes me happy that everybody's getting what they want.
Then it's a win-win. It's the
Exactly.
same thing
Yeah.
happens for us where people will come in and like they'll want, you know, a harp for their ceremony. And it's like, okay, well, we do dueling pianos. So you might not be in the right place. I'm excited that you're going to have that, but it's not
Yes,
what we do. So yeah, I get that
exactly.
totally. What would you say is like the most fun or like unique thing that you've seen at a wedding there?
Something that stands out to me just because I thought it was very cute was I went into a wedding and her husband to be at the time,
Mhm.
he was a woodsman And so he like handcrafted and like built houses and stuff, but they built little trucks out of wood that the floral vases went into. So every single table had a little wooden truck, which I thought was a really cute touch because it's like something he loves, but also like he's contributing to the wedding in his own way, which I always find so sweet when like the men like when they have an opinion, because I'm like, it's your day too.
Right.
So, like, tell me what you like. So that's super fun. Also, I think anything cultural is really fun. Like when we have like cultural dances or cultural ceremonies. We just had a Jewish ceremony a couple weeks ago, and I was going through the photos, and I was like, oh my gosh, like the hora, and oh my gosh, and this is happening. Like it was so fun to like look through, and just knowing
So
that the
cool.
barn is so diverse that it can kind of accommodate like all these different events is really fun. And I think every wedding is kind of special in its own, as cheesy as it is, because it looks different every single time. There's
Right.
venue or times in the venue where I'm like, wow, like this is the best the barn has ever looked. And then like the next weekend, I'm like, this is the best the barn has ever looked. Like people really make the space their own and it always looks amazing, which is so nice for them.
I love that. And it's really like you can tell you have a good canvas when each painting is so beautiful and like so different.
Exactly.
Yeah.
100%.
I get married there.
Great. Please come visit us. I'd love to meet you in person and then give you
I
a
would
full
love
tour.
that. Please, let's set
Anytime.
that up for sure. Yeah. Aw. Do you have any advice for like somebody, say, who just started planning?
Just started planning. In terms of like venue searching, or like they booked their venue and now they're
Hmm.
in the planning
Let's
process, like
say
officially.
venue search, like at the beginning. I mean, I know you said like use your resources, like use those timelines and use like
Yeah.
social media to like find your people on there. But any other like specific things, like maybe something that your friend that you just went on a tour with, something you would recommend to her?
I always say options are great and opinions are great, but it's kind of like when you go out to a restaurant and you're flipping through like 8 pages of a menu and you're like, I don't even know what I want anymore. Like, I just don't know. So it's great when like people are bringing in like their parents and like their friends. And like I've done tours where it's like there's 15 people there. Love to meet your entire family, but for you guys, like your voice kind of gets lost in that a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's taking your time to find the right venue, but you also don't want to be touring like 15 venues. I tell couples who like they're here for the first time. I'm like, that's great that I'm your first tour. Let's set the bar high, wanting you to come back again if this is not your place right away. Because we've had plenty of tours where it's one and done, where they're top pick. They come in, they're like, oh my God, there's nothing going to be better. We got to cancel tours, which is great. But that's not always how it goes, which is also fine. Because I'm like, you're only getting married once. Knock on wood. If not, we'd love to have your second marriage here too. But hopefully one and done with these people. So
Right.
tour a couple of venues, see what you like. If you're stuck on the barn vibe, like maybe throw another kind of different venue in because you may never know. But I always joke around like I'm not engaged. Because I don't know what I would want from being in the wedding industry, but I know what I don't want. And that's a good thing too, like making a list like,
Mhm.
okay, what's my priorities, especially with a budget nowadays, like figure out what your priorities are. Would you rather have the reception of your dreams and then maybe get married like at a courthouse? You don't have to pay the ceremony fee, or just kind of prioritizing what's great for you guys. And like my friend getting engaged, we sat down and looked at the proposal and she's like, it's a little bit more than I want to spend. I'm like, well, is this your venue? Then you don't need the s'mores bar, girl. Save $500. Nobody is going to want s'mores when they're all dancing and they're intoxicated. They're not even going to remember
Right.
what a s'more is. It's fine. We don't need that. Save your $500.
Yeah, no, that's so valid. Like really making like your top 5 things maybe and like really sticking to that. Then everything else is just gravy.
100%. It's at the end of the day, the most important thing is the marriage between both people. Everything else
Right.
is just extra. It's a party, it's a celebration. You want to have a good time. You don't want to be like stressed out and be like, oh my God, what napkin fold do I pick? Like at the end of the day, like people are gonna be like, that was a great napkin choice. And then they're not gonna remember afterwards. So it's like the
Right.
main thing is celebrating the two of you guys.
Yeah. I think sometimes it's hard when people get bogged down in the really small stuff. It's like, it's not about the wedding, it's about the marriage, you know?
100%. 100%. It's kind of come into a whole thing, especially with social media. I feel like where it's like, okay, we need to have this and we need to do this and it needs to be this. And it's like, okay, well, like not everybody that you see is making that kind of money where they can blow it on all these things. And
Right.
it can be overwhelming too. Like you don't want to go through a wedding and it be like an event where you're like, it's a concert and you're jumping from one thing to another. Like let it all
Right.
flow easily and like have a good time.
Totally. And like people don't need to keep up with the Joneses. So,
Exactly. Like it's your own. People do it in all
right.
different budgets, all different realms. So just have fun with it because you want to enjoy it. Hopefully you enjoy the whole process, but there are plenty of people that are like, I'm so glad the day is here.
Right. I'm like, oh, phew.
Yes, which is why, like, with an
Yeah.
event coordinator, it's so helpful. Like, we have 3 event coordinators that we include it in the venue cost because it's just easier for everybody if you have an event coordinator, and it's helpful because you can be as laid back as you want, or you can be as in the details as you need to be with somebody by your side that can help you, and if you have any questions, they're there for you. So that, I think, does take a lot of the stress off of a couple, which is great.
It makes it less like you're going through it alone. You
Yeah.
have like your point person to bounce things off of. It's so
100%. It's like a
important.
parent, but in the wedding industry, because you could have a photographer that isn't respectful of the timeline because they're creative people. Like, they're not structured like that. So you
Right.
have your event coordinator that can be like the bad guy and being like, hey, like, we want to join cocktail hour. Like, let's take a couple shots, but we've taken like a lot. So, like, let's move this along. So you can just enjoy the day. You don't have to like worry about things that aren't that important, but make sure that you're getting to your final goal.
Yeah, that is so important for sure. So getting kind of into like nitty gritty, like specifics, what is your current availability like? Like how far out are you guys booked right now?
So we're booking into 2027. We have very like limited availability for 2025, 2026, depending what you're looking at. It just depends. Always I say like October is like prime time for people because it's fall. So that's always like the first to go really. But 2027 is when we're already booking into, which is crazy to think about, but it's 2 years away. So if you want a date and
Yep.
you're very specific about what date you want, it's not too early to start looking. It's just again where your priorities lie. Like, would you rather get married in October? Would you rather have a Saturday? Would you rather have this? Like, and then kind of picking. I always say, if you love the barn, we'll find you a date, but it's just a matter of where your priorities lay. Like, you could be in October, but it could be on a Sunday or a holiday Monday. You may not like that, or we could get you a Saturday in another month. Like, what would you prefer?
And we're starting to see 2027 on our side too. It's like,
Isn't
oh
it
wow, I
crazy?
guess it's a year and a half from now. Yeah, I guess,
Yes.
right?
It's exciting for sure, but it's also crazy because it's like, let's get through 2025. Like, we're in our busy season right now, as I'm sure are you. And so it's like,
Yeah,
let me just get through the end of 2025 and then think about it. But that's not like for us, like that's for us, not for other people. So with 2027, it's like
right.
get the date that you want and then you can kind of relax for a little bit, which is nice for them.
Totally. Like once the date is on the books, you
Yes,
can focus on putting everything else in a line, but the date, like you said, is the most important thing.
100%.
Yeah. What's your flexibility like in terms of like guest count changes?
So we can fit 150 people in the barn. We don't do a guest minimum. We do a food minimum instead. And I always say it's very easy to meet. So we do it that way because we don't want you to have to feel like you have to invite people to be able to come to the barn. You know, it's
Yeah.
great for people who, want to get those wedding presents in and that extra honeymoon money, like more power to you. But we've had weddings that are like 50 to 75 in the barn as well. Of course, we love the big ones. Who doesn't? But we're happy with all ranges. For the final guest count, it's typically like a month to 18 days prior to your wedding. So you do have a lot of time, which is nice. Some places require it much further in advance, or they have like an absolute, like you can have 100 people in here minimum and that's it. Like you can't go lower than that.
Yeah.
So it's pretty flexible. We do a lot of things that are for the couple's benefit too, which I just haven't seen in other venues that I've worked at. So it's really nice that they're kind of like team bride and groom or team bride and bride, team groom and groom. Like they're on their side, which is really nice.
I love that. That is so important and like I think really distinguishes a venue when like they actually go to bat for the couple as opposed to just like their own like catering team or whatever it is.
100%. Like our biggest thing is the bar, because the bar is a huge expense that people, I think, are nervous about with venues because a lot of
Yeah.
people have like a beverage minimum or they do a drink package, and we don't do that. We don't want people to feel pressured to drink or feel like you're going to spend $8,000 on alcohol. So we do the bar based off of consumption, so they can manage it by cash. They can do an open bar, or they can just set a limit financially or cocktail hour, and then it just rolls over into cash after that. So they have complete control, which is super nice. So we've had like a bar tab as low as $500, and we've had a bar tab like as high as like $7,000, but average not that high. So it is really nice for couples to kind of have that flexibility and that comfort and knowing like, hey, it's gonna be okay. Like we don't have to like budget out a ton of money, and you can still offer your guests some drinks and kind of taking out different things to kind of customize things for people, or doing like dry weddings. We've done a lot of dry weddings recently, which has been kind of fun to do like a mocktail option, and like we do a nice like beverage station which has like water with fruit infused into it and a tea and a
Oh,
lemonade. So that's super fun. So again, kind of like going off of that customizability is really important for us. And to kind of build your own wedding is something that we're really proud of that we do and offer to our guests.
it's amazing that it's that customizable where like you
Yeah,
can really get the creative input. Like each couple can really get their specific thing in there. That's amazing.
100%. It's important for us to create. My boss always says our whole slogan is extraordinary experiences every single day for people. But to me, it's just we want you to love everything that's happening and we want you to have the best day ever. And our job is to just kind of see that through. So every time we read a review and it's like a 5-star review, we're like, oh my God, like it's so nice to see it and like that people take the time to write them. But it's also, like I say, it's such a testament to our team. They do such a great job. We have pretty much an all-female team in terms of leaders, which is super fun too. So we have like a female chef, female sous chef. All of our coordinators are women. Our director of operations is a woman. I'm the sales administrator. I'm a woman. Like we're pretty female run too. I joke around our only man is our general manager and he's like the best. He's like, whatever you guys need, I'm here for you. So we have a really great team. And I think that translates for other people that you're kind of entering into our family. So people like to come back, which is fun for us too, to see people who now have like babies and, they have a house now and they're like kind of moving on with their lives. It's very exciting that they still want to come back and visit us.
So tell me like a little bit about like a general like idea of cost at the venue.
Yeah, so the venue and total package, it depends. I always say the biggest things are your guest count, what date you pick, and then what you choose. That's a huge thing because we do kind of build our own. In off season, our low range is $15,000, again, depending on your guest count. In season, it can range anywhere from $20,000 to $35,000. Again, just ranges on what you pick. But for a wedding venue with food included, and you have your linens and your tables, your chairs, you have your event coordinator, your day of manager, we provide the alcohol for you so you don't have to provide any outside alcohol. You don't have to provide any wait staff. We have our in-team kitchen. So you do get a lot, which is really great. We have ceremony option on site. You don't have to do it, but a lot of people choose to do the ceremony on site. We have a backup option for rain. We have a designated cocktail hour space. So there's a lot included in the venue cost, which is great because one of my friends got married 2 years ago now, I want to say, and we showed up. There was nothing at the venue. And I was like, where are the chairs and tables? And she's like, oh, they're arriving. I'm like, okay. And we had to do everything. So it was definitely a
Wow.
DIY wedding, which is great if you have that manpower. But I texted my boyfriend that night. I was like, we're not doing that. That was so much work. And we have a setup team and a breakdown team included in the Barnes fee. So that is such a luxury for people to not have to worry about anything. And they're literally just showing up and it's all taken care of for them. That's a huge thing. So there's a lot included, which is great for the couple's benefit.
Awesome.
Definitely. They've tried to think of everything, which is good.
That's great. I mean, it sounds like there's been a lot of thought put into it.
Definitely. We want everybody to have a great time. Big on fun, big on safety, big on family. We want it to be the best day ever for people. And we've been doing a great job of that, I have to say.
That's awesome. Do you have a standard deposit amount?
Yes. So our deposit is $2,000. It's a non-refundable deposit that locks in that date for couples. It does go towards the venue fee, which is really nice. So it's not just a deposit that they never see again. It starts to pay towards their wedding, which is great. Parties, it's a little bit cheaper, just because it's a completely different style event. So we do $1,500
Sure.
for the deposit for a function.
What's the cancellation policy?
So our cancellation policy is I always say, it's on you, it's not on us, because we can have the wedding. There's no issue on our end. When you sign the contract, we are aware that we're having your wedding. There's no issue on our end. If there's a storm or something happens, then we would just move your wedding date to another available date. We've had people that have been deployed, so we just have a date transfer fee so people can move it to the following year to still have the wedding with us. But we are pretty flexible, which is really nice because we don't want it to be stressful. We want to have a good time. So as long as they're flexible, if they want to have it the same year, we can do that with the date transfer. It just may not be a date you want because things are typically booked up the year of. But that's why a lot of people choose to move it to the following year to give them enough time, rebook their outside vendors, because I think that's probably the most stressful part of it, is just making sure everybody's on the same calendar wave. But it's pretty easy, which is nice. So I always say we don't have a cancellation policy. It's up to you guys. And that's why the deposit's not refundable, because somebody else may have wanted that date. But we try to make it as fair as possible for everybody because we understand it's a lot of money. We want people to feel comfortable.
Yeah, that makes sense. So with outside vendors, do you have like preferred vendors? Are couples like required to use them?
So we have preferred vendors. We do a preferred vendor list that we update every year. And we always joke around, it's like a check-in. Got the doctors, like we kind of evaluate everybody on that list and be like, okay, we did a really good job. Or if we met new people throughout the year, we'll add them onto that list. And then when the couple books, we give them that list in the welcome packet. It's kind of like a little like guideline for us to them if they want to use it. They don't have to. I always say if nobody ever brought anybody new in, we would never meet anybody new. And then maybe those people would not be on the list. So we always love
Right.
seeing new people come in, but we also do have favorites. It's always nice to see certain people come through again, or, there's some people
Right.
that were like, here's the wedding album from this. So happy to see you all again. Can't wait for the next time, because we have them pretty frequently, which is nice.
It's always good when you kind of get that rapport going and you're like, oh, hey,
Yes.
like my favorite photographer. Hello.
100%. And it's,
Yeah.
it's a marriage. I joke around about that. Like, you want to love your outside vendors just as much as you love us, because you're going to be working with them and you
Yep.
want to gel well. And these people on the list, like, they know the barn just as well as we do at this point, because they've been here enough. So if you're
Yeah.
like nervous that your photographer is going to take a bunch of time to like figure out where they want to shoot, maybe you do book somebody who's been here before, because they'll know exactly where to take you and what kind of
Yeah.
shots to look for, because we have 240 acres of property. So there's like a lot of land, especially being on a golf course. But we have
Right.
some key spots for people. But we've seen some fun photos where I'm like, oh, like nobody's taken a photo there before. Like, that's kind of fun. So I'll add it to the website as an option for the next photographer. So it's super fun to have new people, but also we have really good relationships with the people. And for us, it's like, if something were to go wrong on like an outside vendor side, if we have a good relationship with them and we know them, it's just easier for us to solve the problem. It's a pro and con list, but we haven't had any issues with outside vendors either, which is really nice, because you would hate for that to happen.
Right. No, that's good. I mean, and it speaks to that your team is doing things right too, because so much of that comes down to what the venue is able to execute and like how you are able to manage like the whole team on the day.
100%. Things are bound to happen that you don't plan for, but it's up to the team to see how it's executed. And I think that's the most important thing, is mistakes happen on both parties. Nobody's perfect, but
Sure.
we do this every single weekend, and we're normally at the barn, 5 to 7 days out of the week. So we're prepared for anything, and we're very lucky that the minor things have happened. Like, we had a bride who she thought she ordered her cake and she didn't. So when the cake didn't deliver, there was like, oh, we didn't have an order. So luckily it was a vendor that we worked with. So we explained the situation to her and she was like, let me see what I can do. And she ended up being able to deliver a cake like within an hour or two. So it's like, if we
Wow.
didn't have a relationship with that person, we might have been going to Walmart for the cake. I don't know. But it's kind of things
Right.
that, like, if something happens, it's just how we respond to it. And our team does a really great job of that, I have to say. It's kind of a power
That's
team.
awesome. It's honestly, you can tell like when a venue is really on it because the team is so like cohesive and like things like that happen even like with the vendor partners. Like we love that when like, something comes up, it gets handled, everybody just steps in, does what they got to do, and the bride and groom are happy.
100%. It's like, you don't want them to know what's happening and then you handle it in the background
Right.
unless you absolutely need to talk to them. But like, that's our job, is to kind of handle things on the back end so they don't know, so they can enjoy their day. And
Totally.
everybody likes to be there. Like, people will be there on their day off and like show up. And so everybody
I
wants to
love
be there.
that.
And I think that is a huge thing. And my boss says that all the time, where you want to find people that are treating the barn and treating the place like they own it. And it can be hard to find sometimes, but it is a great mindset to have, because like, I joke around like, maybe I'm working too much. And like, but it's like, I love what I do. I love being here. It's hard to find a job where like people are normally really happy. Like, it's a normally, like, if you're dealing with the public, they're really positive and happy because the best thing in life just happened to them. Like, they're getting married. So
Right.
like, you can't take that for granted, especially like with today. Like, there's just so much going on and people can get sucked into the negativity, and you want to look forward to going into work every day. It's a long time that you're
Totally.
at work, so you want to enjoy it. And our team loves being there, and it's definitely like a huge family, which is really fun and chaotic at times, but like, we have so much fun with everybody together.
I love that. You can tell like that you love it, which is just, it's like so nice because sometimes I feel like people can get like stressed out at their jobs, and it's just, it's so good to like, because, we're entertainers. So like our job is
Right.
to make everybody happy. So it's great to talk to someone who has like the same kind of mindset.
100%. It is really fun. And like, I have a completely different career than my friends. And like, one of my friends right now, she's like, I just wish I had a fun job like Julia. And I'm like, listen, it's not fun all the time, but listen, every day is different. And I will take that any day over like an office job where I'm sitting by myself all day. So you're meeting a lot of fun people. And to be a small part in their lives is something that I don't take for granted. And it makes me smile when I'm like, in a review because I'm like, oh my God, you met me like a year to 2 years ago and I'm in a review. Like, that's insane to me and so sweet. And like, couples will like, I had a bride where she was one of the first brides I think I ever booked. And she found me on Instagram like after she got married. And I'm like, I don't
Oh,
even know how you found me on Instagram, but like, that's so sweet that like she wanted to just be friends on Instagram. As silly as it is, like, I think that is important to us because that means we did a good job. Like, the fact that you want to
totally.
continue on a relationship, even if it's like via social media, and we have so many like brides that follow our coordinators on social media, like, you really build a connection with who you're working with. So you want to enjoy who you're picking for sure in all
Totally.
aspects.
Well, I love that. That's so cool.
It's really fun. We're very lucky for sure.
Yeah. Do you guys have a bridal suite over there?
We do, yeah. So we have one inside the barn. Typically, what we do in there is we'll do like last minute makeup touches. We'll put the bride's dress on in there and then they'll kind of hide out before the ceremony. But we have a separate room, literally steps away from the barn in our clubhouse called our Putnam room that they can rent out. It holds up to 50 people, which typically people don't need 50 people in there, but you can set a breakfast menu. You have an outdoor deck that overlooks the golf course and you just have plenty of room to get ready in there. So you don't have to, but usually one person does because the other person's staying at a hotel room. So you're already spending the money on the hotel room, so you might as well use it. But then normally somebody else can like go into the Putnam room and just hang out there and get ready there. So we do have that space if they'd like to. But some people get married at a church too, so they don't want to come here and then go there. So it's pretty flexible, which
Right.
is nice. You don't have to rent the space out if you don't want to.
That's cool. Do you guys have any noise ordinances or like curfews or anything?
We are in a residential area, so the party has to end by 11 o'clock, which
Okay.
since COVID, people are like 10 p.m., they're done. They're tired, so
Yeah.
we don't really have any issues with it. The only time that it comes up is like people who want to get married New Year's Eve because they want to stay till, past midnight, obviously. So we would need to pull a special
Right.
permit from that and get that approved by the town. Because I think we actually have done like one or two weddings like that before. But it's also holiday season, so we do want to give some time off for our couples because we are usually working most holidays. We do a
Right.
lot of events around that time too.
Well, our December is so busy. I feel you.
Yes, it's a lot of, like, corporate parties for us, like, we've had, like, 1 or
Yep.
2 weddings, but it's a lot of, like, corporate parties and sometimes, like, baby showers, but we work pretty much like Easter, we get Easter Day off, and then, like, we're working Mother's Day, we do a huge Mother's Day brunch, which is open to the public, so that's a really busy day for us. We've had the most people ever, we had over, like, 230 people for brunch this year,
Oh my
which was
gosh.
super fun, but a lot for sure. And
Right.
then, we're Father's Day, we're working. 4th of July, we're usually working because people are having a wedding. So we do like
Right.
Easter and then a tiny like 3 days for Thanksgiving and then like 3 days for Christmas. So other than that, we're ready to go for everybody.
Cool. On like the day of the event, what is the earliest that vendors can access the venue?
So the outside vendors we actually reach out to once we get their information and we do a whole timeline of when they can come in. It kind of just depends like if we have an event beforehand, what they're bringing in, how much time they need to set up because we've had people have to come in at like 7 a.m. and then we've had people that show up at like 2
Wow.
p.m. So it really depends. Our couples can pick their ceremony time. We've had noon weddings, we've had 5 p.m. weddings, we've had 1 p.m. weddings. So that's kind of fun that you can pick whatever time you want. We do one wedding per day. We don't want to have like a lot happening. We want to focus on you guys. So
Right.
that's the biggest thing for us. So they kind of coordinate with the coordinator to figure out what time is best for them. And then they typically drop off sometime that day, which is nice.
Yeah, I know for us, we use like 2 hours of setup time before guests get there. And it's usually pretty easy to accommodate, but you never know.
Yeah, it's tough because you need to make sure that your guests aren't walking in and like things are still being done. Cause that I feel like is just
Right.
like,
We don't want to bring in the piano during like the
yeah,
soup.
yeah, you're like, excuse me, I'm trying to get through here. Can you move over?
We just, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
You
So we make
sneak
sure
us
that doesn't
in.
happen. We normally, like, if they're doing like a 5 p.m. ceremony, we expect people to show up around 3:30, because somebody's going to show up
Okay.
early because they were like, well, I didn't want to be lost and like be late, which is great. We rather you be early than be late. But we do
Yeah.
kind of coordinate. So typically it's like morning to like early afternoon is when people drop things off. If they're a vendor that we've worked with closely, sometimes they're able to drop off the night before because they're like, I'm super busy. I have a lot going on. Like things are stacked up for them. So we try to accommodate the best that we can.
Very cool. Is there an event coordinator on site like during the day?
Yes. Yep. So what's really special about the barn is it's typically the same person that you're planning the event with. A lot of venues, they'll have like an event coordinator and planner, and then you'll have a different person the day of. So we
Like a
usually
day
have the
of
same
coordinator,
person.
yeah.
Yes, we have the same person unless there's like a family emergency or something, like knock on wood, it's the same person. So you have a good relationship with them. And it's just nice because you become really close. Like you've been planning for over a year usually with this person. So you have a good banter, a good
Right.
relationship with them. You trust them with things. So we want people to feel comfortable, especially when it's a stressful day in general. So yeah, we have 3 on site. They all have great experience. We have great reviews for everybody. We're really excited about the team for this year. It's a really solid team, and they're all here. They're on site. They're including the venue cost. So I always just say give them a tip at the end of the wedding because they do a lot for you. But other than that, like it's free game, so it's nice. They're available all the time too. They work so many hours, and they love every minute of it, which is really fun.
Wow. It sounds like everybody's like so involved in the process. I love that.
100%. Like, we don't want you to feel alone. And everybody has like difficult family dynamics or different family dynamics. And we want that to be like, we want somebody to be on your side all the time. And so that's what the coordinator's job
Totally.
is like you're that spokesperson for the couple and just their team player. Like, you're here to help them, you're here to guide them, you're here to support them. Whatever you need, they're here for you. And we have like a whole email chain. And we like had a meeting at the end of the year last year, and the coordinator was like, yeah, we send like 300 emails usually by the end of the time. Like, and that's not including in-person meetings. That's not including like phone calls that happen. Like, there's just so much communication, and you really become really good, like good friends and close with these people too, which is nice.
It's awesome. So cool. Well, that's all the questions that I have. Thank you so, so much for
Of
coming on.
course. Thank you for
It's
having
like so
me.
good to talk to you and like hear
You
about this.
too.
Yeah.
Nice to see you
We'll stay on
too.
for just a second. Yeah, for real. After all the back and forth and all the craziness of last week.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Eventful Endeavors, Secrets to Crafting the Perfect Celebration. We hope to have left you with some actionable ideas for your own event. If you like the show, please subscribe and definitely leave us a review. We read every comment. So until next time, happy planning and see you soon on Eventful Endeavors.